Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of D&D CR Exposed. And today we are looking at a Discord member request for the Abominable Beauty from Toma Beasts 1. And before we get into diving into this phase stats here, we're going to talk about this tool real quick, and we're going to get the business out of the way first. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you'd like to get your hands on this tool, you can do so by going to my Ko-fi link in the description below, grabbing it for free, completely for free, or you can donate if you feel so inclined, and then you'll have the tool for yourself. You will also get free updates whenever I make them. You just got to make sure to keep that link or come back to the Ko-fi page and just, I guess, download it again for free, and then go back to the link if there's ever an update. And then beyond that, if you also would like to submit a request, you can do so in my Google form, or more preferably, because the AI algorithm overlords deem it so, you could leave a comment on the channel, and then I will add that to the link as well, or to my list as well. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the Abominable Beauty from Toma Beasts 1 by Kobold Press. Now this was done a while ago, so who knows how this will end up. So right off the bat, we're going to start with a CR 11 here, and we will drop down to grab that. And then we'll start from the top and work our way down. A bunch of this stuff is going to be skipped, but we have AC 18. We have a medium Fey, which only matters for the amount of hit dice we're putting in. 22 hit dice, speaking of which. And then the following stats of 17, 18, 18, 17, 16, and 26. Yeah, you're not getting away from charming this one for sure. She's going to be charming you, or they will. You know, it's probably, you could also have a guy, just because the art is a scantily clad female, as you will see soon enough. We will. You could make this into a scantily clad male if you need that for one reason or another, or whoever else. Whatever you want to do there. So moving on, now that we have our stats in there, we're going to look a little bit at the traits section here, and then move on to, I don't know, not really traits. These are the traits down here. These are like extra skills and such. We have 3 skills of Dex, Con, and Charisma, so we're going to update that to 3 to 4, giving us a +2 effective AC bonus, and then everything else we can skip. We only have 1 immunity, and it's to fire, and that won't matter. Skills don't matter. Everything else is pointless. So we can move on to our action section, and luckily our Fae here doesn't have any sort of traits beyond that, so we're just going to take a look at this. Now, our Abominable Beauty can make 2 slam attacks, and with that we have an attack bonus of 8 and a reach of 5, and our dice are going to be a 1d8 plus 8d6 fire damage. What in the world? I mean, I understand why, because, the basic punch, but then to add in all this crazy fire damage is just silly. So let's go ahead. I don't normally do this with official stuff, but just for the heck of it, I know Kobold Press does really great work here, so I'm sure this is all properly aligned. And yeah, we're seeing 7 for our hit dice, technically 7.5 because this is an odd number of dice, and then we have 8d6 fire damage for our slam attack. So we will go ahead and throw that into position number 1. So we have 7.5 plus 28 for a total of 35.5 for our first attack. And we can do 2 of those. So we'll go ahead and throw in our multi-attack right now for a total of 71 points of damage. Now, 71 versus 70 may not seem like a big deal here, but when, we look at the ranges for our DPR, damage per round, if you're not aware, 1 point could shift us up or down. Right now, at the moment, that falls within the medium range for CR11, but we'll see what happens with the other items we have here. Next, we have Blinding Gaze. Recharges on a 5 or 6, which means we should only see this 1 out of the 3 rounds of combat. If we were to go into a 4th round of combat, we might see it again, but in total, out of 6 rounds of combat, we should probably see this at least twice, mathematically speaking. Now, a creature within 30 feet of the beauty has to make a save, DC 17 con save, and then the target is permanently immune, or blinded if they fail. If the saving throw succeeds, they are permanently immune to the beauty's blinding gaze, which means, they could fixate on the beauty all they like. So that is nothing really too concerning. Blinding would give a permanent I'd say maybe +2 to their defenses if we wanted to use that. But because this is a defensive maneuver, it would basically kind of counteract the slam here. So I'm not too concerned about this. I'd say we just skip over the blinding gaze and take a look at burning touch next. Now the burning touch is, let's see here, the Abominable Beauty slam attacks do 28d fire damage. A creature who touches her also takes 28 fire damage. So we're going to go ahead and come over to the monster traits. This is actually technically a trait that should have been moved up to the top section and not put into the actions area, but probably done so to save on space, maybe. So we do have Heated Body here. So the Heated Body is going to be multiply damage times 2 if attacking and standing next to it deals damage, which is not. So we're only going to do this for one amount, which means we're going to throw in 28 damage here, and that will increase the DPR a little bit. So now we have at least one hit per round dealing an extra 28 points of damage, which is kind of silly, but whatever. So next we're going to scroll up and take a look at the last item here for our Abominable Beauty. And the Deafening Voice, recharge 5 or 6. The Beauty's voice is lovely, but a creature within 90 feet able to hear it makes a Deafening Voice attack must succeed on a 16 con save or be permanently deafened. So once again, this is a condition and a defensive maneuver, something we don't necessarily need to worry about. So basically, our Abominable Beauty is only going to be dealing with the slam attacks. If we were to do anything else, it would counteract that and kind of balance it in its own right here. So with that, we're going to go ahead and throw in the only attacks that she has, or they have, for 71 points of damage every round. And to save on time, I'm just going to throw that into the concentration because that will move it down into the full attack range. And surprisingly enough, our Abominable Beauty is actually a CR 13, just from the damage it deals on its own. Now we can take a look here and say, what happens if we don't get any melee attacks and we're all doing range damage? For some reason our party is like rangers and archer fighters and, you know, spellcasters and what have you. Well, we could get rid of Heated Body, and if we get rid of Heated Body, then we're only doing exactly what we're expecting, a CR 11. So it's really this burning touch that anytime anyone in melee gets hit, and the more times that person does get hit, they're going to be dealing even more damage. So for instance, let's say we have a fighter here who's doing 2 or 3 rounds of combat or damage per round in combat, and they're taking this much damage for a CR 11. Well, times 2, we're now jumping up to 15, and if they for some reason have a third attack, or maybe they use their action surge, and we do a third or fourth attack, we're starting to jump up into the areas of obscene here for extra damage because of this Heated Body here. So 4 damage moves us up to a CR 16 and gets some crazy outputs here. But all in all, there we have it here. This Abominable Beauty from Kobold Press's Tome of Beast 1 is a CR 13 on its own, normally without considering the Blinding Gaze or the Deafening Voice thing. And those, they might actually drop the character down a bit. And, we could do that. Let's just real quick, we'll go ahead and throw this in. So we'll say 0 for round 1, and we'll do like the Blinding Gaze on round 1. And we'll do these 2 twice here. And then, let's see here. We have, what, Blinding Gaze. So the creature's blinded for how long? The creature is permanently immune. Or be blinded. Okay, so it's a permanent blindness, I guess. Makes sense. So that would mean then that we are looking at blinded here for 1 whole minute. And that's going to be an extra 11 hit point bonus. Which... I don't think it's getting added in. Oh, no, it is getting added in because we're moving from CR 11 to CR 12. So let's remove that and just double check. Yes. So even with the Blinding Gaze on round 1's attack, we're looking at roughly a CR 12 now with Blinding Gaze and 2 attacks. So this Fae is pretty tough and pretty nasty. Kind of what I was expecting. So there we go. We have ourselves a CR 13. I would suggest you using the Abominable Beauty, if you so choose to, at CR 13 and not CR 11. don't even really worry about the blinding gaze or the the other one there, the deafening voice. If you want to use those, then maybe use it as CR12. On average, I would probably say this is going to be a CR12 monster. If you're very aggressive with your attacks, getting in there to do a lot of damage, and maybe blinding or deafening or deafening the characters, your players once, but keeping up on that, doing that press. So first 3 rounds of combat, maybe do a blind and 2 punches and get hit a bunch of times, and then if you make it to a 5th or 6th round of combat, then maybe do a deafen and do some more damage there. But even then, the deafening doesn't come into play too terribly much. In any event, there we have it. CR11 is actually a CR13. Thank you all so much for joining me for this look at Tome of Beasts Abominable Beauty. Again, if you like what we're doing here, or what I'm doing here, go ahead and grab yourself this tool in the link in the description below at my Ko-fi page, where you can get it completely for free or donate if you so feel to. In any event, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you're seeing a stream or feed of those that have already donated. I decided to start adding this in to show my appreciation for those that have donated to the cause and the video here, and I thank everyone here in this this end screen, and I will see you all in the next one.